less of a usual intro. We're going to go into this and we're going to do our fundamentals. We're just going straight into it. Just testing a new style. And I have to remember to remember that the references for this video are in the description, as always. Now, what are we doing today? People and poses. So, similar to the topics that we've been doing recently, but this time we're going to be just having a little bit fun, flowing about with it. And that's about it. So yeah, let's get into it. So I've got my references ready. They're on the Pinterest, just as the other ones, like I mentioned. And I've got a couple of portraits that I can see here. And I've got a couple more difficult poses. So I'm going to try and do the slightly more difficult ones first. And I'm going to start off by creating some shapes, just like we usually do. And my focus here is to get these looking fresh, looking good, which is obviously always my my goal with creating this art. But I'm going to try and put it in like a 3D space this time. Which, I mean, I always try and do that. That's perspective for you, right? And do let me know if you guys actually enjoyed this sort of just getting straight to it style. I still want to do the little outro that we do with these videos, but I want to see if this gives us a new perspective, a new fresh way of approaching these things. I hope you guys enjoyed the setup tour that I did today. I think, yeah, I released it today, but I filmed it a couple of days ago. It was fun doing that sort of video. You can expect to see like a couple of different videos on the channel, and I know they won't always like do as great as these videos, but that's not the point of them. The point of them is, for me, I like making videos like this, and I also love making videos like those ones that we did because it's just a lot of fun for me. So occasionally I will explore that sort of style and everything. But yeah, I had to get it off my chest. To get a video like that off my chest, because I love setup tours. And first thing I always think whenever I'm like getting serious with YouTube again and like posting regularly, which until like this point hasn't been that often. This is the most regular I've ever been with actually doing YouTube and uploading as much as I can, and it's been awesome. I've been enjoying it very much. This is like it's pretty much a dream come true, you know. I do really enjoy making these sorts of videos. It's a great thing to do in my spare time, I'm not gonna lie. It's now I used to spend my free time playing games all day, and now like every time I have like some free time, I'm like, oh, I could go record a video this time. Like it's my time to get these things out and get these things going. Now we're drawing an older fellow here, and I'm kind of just focusing on the line work and trying to keep simple, nothing too complicated, just a couple lines. He is in a very cool position here. He's got his white shirt, I should say, going. He seems to be like walking down the street. I should give him more of an arched back. That's what the reference is showing me, which, remember, it's in the description below. Not like I've already mentioned it twice, but I'm gonna keep hammering it down. I want you guys to join in on this. Grab your paper, grab your pencils, and get going. I do hope you're practicing as well. Got his glasses there. Kind of looks a little bit like Beksinski from, just yeah, in general, from his older ages. His face is mostly pointing away in this reference, so we won't be able to see much of it. Now, he's strolling down the street with his... I'm not gonna lie, I do like his fit. I think it's very purposeful. He seems to have big pockets, so it's very utilitarian. This is a tiny bit different from the reference. I did place his hand in the wrong position, but that's alright. We'll go from here, and we'll actually have to use our brain a little bit, and oh god. We'll have to use our brain a little bit to put this together, to piece it as well as we can. There's a nice crease going on at the bottom here, which I'm going to try and pay special attention to, because creases are a great fundamental to learn as well, believe it or not. Creases and learning them will really elevate your art. I think it'll make it look a lot more professional. It'll make it look a lot more like you know what you're doing, rather than you're just guessing and throwing stuff out on the page. But creases will help a lot, and it will bring your drawings to life. And they're not the easiest to understand, so I'm sure we'll actually do like a more concentrated video and lesson on them. But for the time being, I'm just gonna focus on getting them right in this drawing, and we'll always come back to them eventually. And same with like shoes and feet. Like we tend to put a lot of focus on hands, but feet are also very difficult to draw. I'm liking the way this is coming out. If you guys can see, I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional with my brush strokes, rather than pencil strokes, just so I don't create like a massive mess here. Trying to make this as simple as possible so I can follow it and so I can make sense of what I'm doing. But you do you, by all means. This doesn't mean you have to do it exactly like I'm doing it. This is just how I'm feeling today, and that's what we're going for today. I'm going to shade this in lightly, just so we have some nice shadows going on. If you guys have seen the previous videos, you'll know that I'm trying to get like a cleaner line and a cleaner look on my drawings, and this is kind of my attempt of it. Just going about it in a more design way, rather than trying to just constantly create lines everywhere. Which actually, to be honest, speaking of like industrial design, that was a very big point that we had to nail down, is to be very free with our lines and to put a lot of them down, because for some reason, I don't know why, but in industrial design it makes your drawings look a lot nicer when you just have like a bunch of lines going on at the same time. So lines are actually a good thing in design. He does have a nice shadow on his face, so we're going to fill that in. And we're going to continue over here. But also not forget to fill the shadow in over here. I've turned on some rain noises for myself, so I'm also going to do the same for the video, just to check it out. So you can see we are trying different things in this video. I do want to see where I can go with this style of shooting, and see if you guys will like it, which ones you guys will prefer, which ones will just go back to what we used to do, in case people do not appreciate it. But I'm kind of enjoying it at the moment. I'm relaxed. It's a nice Monday, you know. People probably had some stressful days at work, and now you're back. Now you're back, and you're drawing, you're doing what you love, and you're just taking some time out of your day to practice. Because let's face it, although practice is tedious, and yeah, it sucks, like you have to practice, you have to do all this, you have to put in so many hours just to do a good drawing, but at the end of the day, it's kind of fun. Like, there's some things that suck when you practice them, and then there's some things that aren't that bad when you practice them. Like this isn't that bad. I'm just gonna do like a little random shadow here. Yeah, this doesn't suck. I mean, come on. We're here, we're creating. We're still creating, and we know that with every brush stroke or pencil stroke or pen stroke, whatever we're doing, we're actually getting better. And we'll definitely see some results in the coming months. We'll be able to see that our drawings are actually a little bit better today than they were 2 weeks ago. And it wasn't even that long ago. So there we go, there's Grandad. There's number one. Yeah, 2 weeks is not a long time, and suddenly your drawings become way better. That's a cool thing to experience. Let's try and do a face. I've got a face saved here. Kind of a poor circle, not gonna lie. But it's alright. I'll do the center of it here. Trying to get an understanding of the 3D space I'm trying to build this face in. Gonna make sure that these lines are as light as possible and that I am putting them in exactly where I need them to be. I'm also gonna put the neck down, because usually I don't do that. I don't put like the lower part of the face in, and I think if I did that, it might just make my life a little bit easier. Might be easier to understand where we're going with this. If we just take a moment and put a couple more details in at the beginning, and it just gives us more of a guideline. That's going to be the middle of our face, therefore our ears will be somewhere around here. Ear will be much off like this. Gonna do our little eye trick. I'm still mainly going off of the reference, but I'm going to put in, just like I was saying, some additional information on the outside, just so I have something to follow when we're deep in the drawing. I'm almost using the rest of his face to sort of pinpoint exactly where I'm going to put his eyes, his nose, all his features. The nose is going to be around here, and he's got quite a round nose, so I'm going to put that over here, and then the mouth will be around halfway, and then we can start to build in the structure of the face. His jaw will come down around here, to chin will be around here, his head and his neck is going to connect over here, and then we'll have like a nice flowing neck down here. The way he's looking, he's kind of looking over here, seems a bit confused. As always, usually at the start these things look pretty terrible, but when you get near the end you start to see some progress, and he's got like a weird face. Not a weird face, like a shook slash kind of angry face. It's like wondering what's happening. That's the emotion I'm trying to portray when doing this. I'm just taking my time with it. Let's get back into some more intentional lines. As you can see, I'm smudging this whole thing. That's alright. We're gonna get messy. We're artists. We have to deal with mess. Especially when it comes to painting, which I'm sure we'll get onto eventually. You know, there's a whole color theory thing that we need to do. So that's what I kind of love about this. There's always something to be practicing, and if you don't know what to practice, well, that's a poor excuse. You should know what you're gonna practice, because there's just so much to do. There's no way that you're not gonna have anything to practice. Absolutely no way. Oh, would you look at that? Pencil's gone. Alright. Kind of made them a little bit more thick. than he is on the actual image here. It's got one of these noses, which noses definitely something I should be practicing more. Noses are quite difficult to get a grasp of, very difficult to understand, so it's good that we're getting some practice in here. This one's from a lower position, so his face is pointing upwards, so we get a lot more of the actual nose revealed because of that. And I'm going to use this opportunity to shade that in. I'm going to shade in this part of the nose as well. And then this part over here is going to be shading in a little bit, as well as here. Sick. I'm actually quite happy with that. Awesome. Let's fill in his eyebrows a little bit. They're mostly blocks, but what we can do is we can actually get our eraser. Just take a couple of these out. It's not always the easiest. You might need like a bit of a sharper eraser, but I'm gonna come in here, stylize them a little bit, just add a bit of roughness to them. After all, they're eyebrows, so eyebrows aren't perfectly square. There's often some cuts and slits in them. Alright, so trying to build in these shapes. Actually, that's what I'm doing a lot more here. I'm taking a bit of a painterly approach to this almost. We're trying to get in these darker blocks of information before anything else. Try and fill in the eye. And then we've got the second eye, which in the reference is a little bit further to the left, or the right in our case, left on the image. And you can tell, you can see his eye's not perfect, and not everyone's is, and that's completely okay. But we're going to represent that as well as we can in this picture, because I'm going to try and keep as much as I can to this reference. I want to represent the truth of the image, trying to convey the truth of his emotion. I don't always go for that, but I feel like it's best that I try today, as we are getting slightly better at this day by day. It's good to sometimes reflect and think about what we can start to do a little bit better with these drawings. And now looking at him now, I know that I'm not doing a perfect job of it. I know that it doesn't look exactly... Oh, sorry, got an alarm going off. Doesn't look exactly how I want it right now, but it's looking a lot better than it would have a couple weeks ago. And that's a huge achievement in my eyes. I'm feeling a lot more concentrated today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact I'm talking a little bit slower than usual. Or maybe it's the fact I didn't do an intro, although that shouldn't be a reason. But I'm feeling good today. Feeling concentrated, feeling like my abilities are going well at the moment, and my efforts are being put to good use. And yours are as well. After all, you've been practicing as well. You've been here watching these videos, and you've been putting in the work. So I'm really, really hoping that you're starting to see some results, and you're starting to feel proud of yourself. You know, you're taking a lot of time out of your day to learn this skill. You know, you could be sitting on the couch and watching TV and scrolling TikTok or scrolling Instagram, consuming, but instead you're choosing to create. And that's a thing to be proud of in itself. And not a lot of people choose to create. A lot of people choose to consume. And I've been one of those people for a long time. and I've always wanted to make a change in that. Now it feels like I'm sort of stepping in that right direction, and it feels like I'm actually making some progress, which progress is it's a good feeling. I think I'm going to put this neck a little bit inwards here, just so I can make it look a little bit more like the image itself. What's actually happening here is this coat is kind of covering it in the reference, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to remove this. It's funny because recently, pencil I'm using right now, which I forgot to mention it at the beginning, the TK Fine Vario L 0.5 Faber-Castell, wasn't the biggest fan of this when I bought it. I was like, oh, this, I mean, it feels nice. It was fairly pricey compared to other mechanical pencils. It's actually very close to the price of like my dream pencil, so I don't really know why I didn't choose to get the dream pencil. It was a weird decision by me. It was a very unintentional purchase, and I don't really know why I did it, but now I get to reflect on it and be like, oh, you know what, you should have put a little bit more thought into it. But at the beginning I wasn't really the biggest fan of it. I did enjoy it for sketching and drawing, but I definitely did not like it for writing. For writing it was poor, in my opinion. And suddenly I've been writing with it a little bit more, and I've come to really love it. It's surpassing my expectations. Actually, no, I did have, to be honest, I had fairly high expectations of it because it did cost a little bit of money. That being said, it wasn't that expensive. It was just, it was just close to the Rotring 600, which, in my opinion, is, yeah, no, it's just, it sucks that I didn't make the right choice there. But I still made a good choice, I guess, because the pencil is very nice, and I am enjoying it a lot more than I was. My whole gripe with it is the fact that it would have felt so much more premium if they had just made this metal. Like, if you guys have seen the Koh-i-Noor one that I customized, this is a very, very cheap pencil. Now, I understand that it doesn't have the mechanics of this one, because this one has like a hard and a soft setting. So when it's set to the soft setting, the lead pushes in when you're drawing, and I guess there's a lower chance of it breaking, or something like that. But it has this extra mechanism in it, and it has this nice little turning thing which lets you decide what lead is inside of it. But the worst thing is when you're using it, it changes anyway, so it kind of sucks. And it has like an extendable rubber, so I guess it has these functions. But this, I mean, this is a nice pencil, and it was very cheap, and it's all metal. It's aluminium. This could have been aluminium. I believe it's aluminium at least. It doesn't seem to be corroding, and it's not magnetic. So I don't know if tin is meant magnetic either, but anyway, it's a cheap metal pencil. And this could have easily been metal. So, from a design perspective, I think they missed out. I think they could have made this feel a lot more premium than it is, and therefore they could have even increased the price. Maybe it was a reason to keep the price cheaper, but at the end of the day, it is designed how it was designed, and it's still a good pencil. I still enjoy using it, and I still really want the Rotring 600. That's the conclusion of the story. It's not as perfect as I hope the 600 will be. That's the thing, I've never been able to like hold it and feel it. I've just heard that it's an amazing pencil, and everyone always praises it, and I know I've always seen it, and I was like, man, this looks good, but do I really want to spend this much money on a mechanical pencil? And instead I chose to spend probably much more looking for one that's similar to it. Moral of the story is, buy it nice or buy it $15 times or something like that. But if you guys look at this portrait that we're doing here, I think it's going pretty well. I'm enjoying it. He does have a stubble, so I'm gonna fill that in with a little bit of texture, and going to do a little bit of shadows in here, just so we have this information. His chin is a little bit darker. How are we doing here? He's got a bit of a shadow here as well, which I'm thinking, should I fill it in, or is it going to ruin the image? Actually, it didn't ruin it. He kind of almost looks like the guy from Man vs. Food. What a great show. I loved that show when it was out. Alright, we've got the jacket over here, which I'm going to fill in with a darker line, adding a little bit of contrast. But I'd say that's number 2. That's a pretty good sketch, actually. I'm very happy with that. It's awesome when you start to feel like the progress coming in. I hope you guys can feel it too. Like, really, I think we're putting in a lot of time here, so it will be worth it. I'm just happy the way that these are turning out. You know, because it is a little bit more stressful doing something like this on the camera. I never know how it's going to turn out fully. How can I make this a little bit better for you guys? Let me move this up a little bit so we can see over here. I've kind of set this book up so I don't have to move it too much, but we'll do another drawing here. You guys might have to see a little bit of the drafting table here, but that's alright. Let's see, do we do a face or a pose? I do have a cool pose here now. This one I'm a bit worried about. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. But I will never know if I don't try. So, this could be a massive, massive failure. Only one way to find out. How is this working? So, his face is almost in like a weird perspective like this. This goes inwards here. Trying to see if I can build the perspective first. Thing is, it goes inwards here, so it technically converges on here like this. If I turn this off, and then it goes slightly outwards like this, and then we have the perspective converging inwards. This is probably going to be a massive failure, I'm not gonna lie. So guys, you should slightly prepare for this not to be a banger. But like I said, only one way to find out. Hand will be over here. We should have done a little bit more converging. Add a little bit more information for myself. See, the main thing that we want to get right here is the legs, but I don't have enough space because I once again did not plan this ahead. So I've run out of space a little bit, so I guess this is what we're going to have to work with. You guys can't even see it below here, which kind of sucks, so I'm not even going to have to do the legs. But the face is here. Now, let's see. I'm going to try and put his expression first, which it's actually quite similar to the previous guy we did. It's a bit shocked, a bit confused. And I'm going to once again use it and build out these shapes can already see this going completely wrong. Oh no. Why have I chosen this as a reference? I know why I've chosen it. Because I knew it was going to be hard. So it's good to do these sorts of things. And like I always say, it's like if this doesn't work out, we can always try it again. And we can always come back to it another day. It is a bit of a weird perspective. It's the only reason why I'm kind of like wondering what to do here. It's because paying attention to this, it's almost like as if his face is going outwards like a sphere. But we're doing an alright job so far, I'd say. Not too bad. We'll do a little information here for the haircut. Quite a messy haircut he has. This is where the forehead is. Got a little bit of crinkles going on over here. And then we'll come in here. And we're starting to do a decent job of it, I guess. We've got the main shape of the head. And we've got like some information that we've put in here already. Let's see. His ear is almost like this. I'm making these lines a little bit too thick. Once again, the nose is connecting on a line like this. So the nose is over here, near the bottom of the ear. Remember, that's always kind of our connecting point. And this here is more of the connecting point of the ear, the top of the ear. So proportionally, we're pretty much here. Like, we're in a good spot. Got another chance to draw a nose here. Gonna make use of it. Cool. And we're also gonna try and keep to our building shapes. Using shapes to build this out. Using shadows and some more geometry, some harsher angles. Build out this face and to put in the information we need. There's a bit of shadow going on over here as we draw the face, and the lips are like slightly open. It's almost like he's exhaling a cigarette, which I think he is because he is smoking. Which the face isn't actually working out as well as it was in the mouth, sorry. Isn't working out as well as it was in the previous one. But let's see if we can fill this in. Here, it's got some cool eyes. It's a cool face that he's making here. I don't think I'm doing it much justice with my drawing. I can tell that this one's not coming out as well as the previous one was. But that being said, it's still cool. Kind of capturing the expression that he's putting out a little bit, but the face looks completely different, and that's just something I'm not 100% happy with. But let's see if we can try and get this to a good point at least. It doesn't have to be perfect at the moment. I did decide that this one was going to be a little bit more perfect than this one. And maybe I decided that too much, because now this one's going to come out a lot worse. But it's all art. It's all practice. After looking at some more analysis of like this face and what we do with it, we can then see, hey, where did you go wrong? Maybe you didn't go anywhere wrong, or maybe you just didn't look at the reference enough, or maybe, just maybe, it will still end up looking more like him when you're actually done with it, rather than thinking that's already ruined now. Give it some time. Maybe the more information that we start to add to this, then more of this face will become a lot more clear. It's already starting to look a little bit more like him. That being said, it's not great. it is starting to look a little bit better. His forehead is a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna make sure to account for that. And we're gonna add his hair. It almost looks like the guy from A Way Out. Sorry about that. I keep hitting the things under my desk. Don't have too much space here. I don't know if you guys seen the game No Way Out. I think it is. It's like a 2-player prison escape game. It looks looks very much like one of these characters. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's put the hair out over here. For some reason this hair is a lot messier than the other side. I think what we screwed up here is this. The eye should have been a lot higher up. So I'm going to try and correct it. If we can't correct it, we'll go back to the previous eye. That looks a little bit better. Does have some massive eyelashes, this guy. I can't say it looks better, but maybe a little bit. That's alright. It's not too bad. It's actually looking alright. Maybe his face is looking a little bit weird, but guess we'll get it next time. Let's try and do a little bit of the rest of the image. See if we can get this perspective going any better. But that being said, I'm not the biggest fan of how this has turned out so far. For each great drawing or great couple drawings you make, there's bound to be a bad one, or there's bound to be one that's a lot worse than the others. This happen a lot. It's nothing to worry about, obviously. It's just something new you're trying, so it's not always going to come out well. This is something new I'm trying, and it's to be expected that it's not going to be perfect. I am sort of getting the vibe of him correct, I guess. But he looks a lot more hunched over in the drawing I'm doing here than he is in the actual image. In the actual image he looks pretty cool, and here he looks like looks a bit sad almost. A little bit homeless. Whereas it's this guy in the suit who's chilling there with a cigarette, and the suit is nicely pressed, and he's even got a vest jacket on. Look at that. Just noticed that. It's pretty dark in the image, so we can try and follow that. So I'm going to try and fill this in a little bit. Not focusing on too much detail. Again, kind of going back to the style of the granddad that we did here earlier. Let's see, got some crinkles going on over here. Trying to be a little bit more intentional with my lines. Again. And it almost looks very strange here, and then it suddenly converges into this point. Which, it does look a little bit funny on here. Whenever you're drawing like this, it does look a little bit funky. But what he's doing is he's obviously putting his hand in his pocket here. But to be honest, we are kind of getting the perspective right on it, but it just looks a little bit goofy when you look at it drawn. That being said, it's not too bad. It's doing okay. You may look like a gremlin, but I promise to you, it's perspective. It's not me, I swear. Alright, let's fill this in with darker lines. I hope you guys can actually kind of hear the scratchiness of the paper. It's almost ASMR like. Let's see if we can do his hand before we start to wrap it up. We did do some hand practice recently, so it shouldn't be too hard, he said. Counting his last breath, his last moments on this earth. Oh man. Don't know if that looks right. It's a big thumb. Oh man. This whole picture just ended up being hella goofy. Maybe I'm not preparing enough. I've been going in too quickly with it. No. Oh no, what's going on? You know what's alright? You know, it's gonna be funny, I guess, at least. But we're turning him into Mr. Krabs. Oh, that's not good. Let's see if I can do a little bit of a better job of it. And if not, then we'll just have to deal with it. Deal with it for now. Accept the embarrassment and try again another day. Because this is definitely not a drawing of Mr. Krabs, so it can't be looking like Mr. Krabs. See if I can do a little bit of a better job of it. Got some shadow here that we can turn to for assistance. And then I'm gonna use my stick figure stuff to sort of help me out. Yeah, but you know what, that's I don't think it's gonna get much better. Kinda looks like he's throwing gang signs or something. You win some, you lose some. You know, this is a game of Battle Royale and we just did not hit the dubs. This one didn't turn out quite as well as it should have. Just gotta recollect. Just gotta face it and recollect. Alright, we'll keep it as it is. We'll add him a little napkin pocket or whatever he has over here. Condolences for the terrible drawing. It didn't turn out that bad. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Obviously his face looks completely different to the rest of his body, but yeah, you know what? Still turned out alright. Still not the worst thing I've ever drawn. So that's always good to keep that in the back of your mind. Also, sorry, I kind of hit the microphone there. But that about does it for this. Let's talk about it real quick. So I reckon I actually turned out okay. It's not the worst drawing I've ever done. The last one could have been better. Definitely something to improve. And now, seeing this, I know that I can focus on perspective a little bit more and try and learn that. So do expect that to be one of the videos coming up soon, or some of the videos coming up soon. Because perspective is really going to make our drawings look a lot better. Sometimes a lot better than they are, because it's a very technological skill to be able to place things in perspective. And I can definitely see it elevating our work a lot further in the next couple of weeks if we do focus in on it. But other than that, that second portrait I did here, probably my favorite I've done in a while. I think it looks awesome. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out the next one and have a look at my setup tour if you're interested in how I kind of do my work here and what I have and what I do with it. It's something I'm going to do fairly often. Well, fairly often. I want to update at least once a year. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Video's over.